Thanks, Don. Thanks to Nick, Paul, Sharon and the team for having us. We're really excited to be here and we look forward to coming here for many years to come. I'm here to talk to you today about Battery Age Minerals. We're a lithium-focused explorer in the Tier 1 jurisdiction of Ontario, Canada. Ray described it beautifully earlier. It's a great location to be in and we really look forward to pushing our project along in the region. I just want to talk about the turn of the tide, and I think that's the lithium market. I think Battery Age Minerals is ideally placed to ride the crest of this next lithium cycle. Just our cautionary statement and standard disclaimer, please read that at your will. The past few weeks there's been a lot of activity and I've just grabbed some snapshots I wanted to share with you. Morgan Stanley, one of the most negative commentators on the lithium market for the last 12 months, came out in the last week and stated that lithium markets are at a turning point. And we've seen through Fast Markets, a reputable price commentator, that the domestic Chinese carbonate price has jumped by 48% from the lows of April. And I'm a big advocate that I think actions speak louder than words. And if you look at the activity that has been ongoing in the past 2 to 3 months, it's been phenomenal. So the multi-billion-dollar deal between Livent and Alchem, the mystery bidder to top Albemarle's 250 deal. You know, I hope you all took the time to watch Tim Goyder earlier today. He's a fantastic man, pioneer of the lithium industry, along with men I learned from like Ken Brinston. It was a fantastic discussion. And in my own backyard in Ontario, Canada, Victor Fedeli, the Minister for Economic Development, has said the next step in the EV auto strategy is construction of hydroxide plants in Ontario. So why is Battery Age Minerals poised to capitalise on this market? Well, I'd like to talk about this in a different way. This is why I joined the company. We have a highly experienced board and we have a great management team. I was lucky enough to get the remit to bring in my own management team, and I'm lucky that some guys have joined me who I trust. We're in a high growth potential market with assets in the green sphere. Our Falcon Lake project is ideally located in Ontario, Canada. It's drill ready, we're fully permitted, we're working through finalisation of exploration agreements with our valued First Nations groups, and we have some outstanding historical intercepts, one notably 24.4 metres at 1.43%. Again, commenting on what Ray said earlier, it's lightly explored, only recently explored, without systematic exploration. So I feel with a systematic plan, we can really unlock value in this asset. We're very close to really good supporting infrastructure, which I'll talk about in a minute. And we've got 2 other projects, copper project in Morocco and a lead zinc project in Austria, which complement the Falcon Lake asset. So our corporate structure, we relisted on the 2nd of February. We raised $6.5 million. At 40 cents. I think we closed today around 34 cents. We've about 77 million shares on offer, which gives us a market cap approximately 26 million. And we've about $4.5 million in cash, which we're going to tip into Falcon Lake quite quickly. Our corporate structure is tight. The top 100 hold 80% of the company. So real sticky holders. Everyone knows that there's a good pipeline of news flow coming up and everyone's excited to see what we can do. The board of directors, Robert Martin is an experienced businessman, very experienced in Canadian lithium, sits on a number of boards, most notably Critical Resources, who announced their maiden resource in Ontario, Canada, last 2 weeks ago. That was 8 million tonnes at just over 1%. Jerry Fahey is a highly experienced geologist, sits on the board of Prospect Resources. Great sounding board for us. Prospect obviously cut a major deal for their Zimbabwean lithium asset last year, fantastic deal. Dr. David Pevcic, successful businessman, and Dr. Stephen Windle, a Brisbane-based geologist experienced in exploration and resource development. I'm not going to labour the point about people. A number of people have talked about it already, but definitely people drive projects and drive them in the right direction. Myself, I did 5.5 years at Pilbara Minerals, joined in 2016, went through a fantastic growth journey and learned so much about lithium. It was amazing. I'm lucky to call upon Ken Brinston as a friend and a mentor. I've learned from Dale Henderson and many of the guys who are now pushing Pilbara into the $15 billion company that it is. Nigel Bruman was head of geology at Pilbara. He came and joined our team in January. If you want to know anything about lithium, come to the booth and talk to Nigel. He's been through drilling, resource development, production, drilling and resource development again. He knows lithium back to front. He has a fantastic knowledge base, and he's the one who's designing our drill program that's upcoming. On the ground in Canada, we have Taylor Smith, another ex-Pilbara boy. Taylor was on the rigs in Pilbara in the early days. He loves getting his hands dirty. He knows what good looks like coming out of the ground. So he's our arms and legs. He works with our in-country geological partner, Coast Mountain. They provide us all our geos and the support we need. Taylor's the one running it, providing us a constant feedback loop with respect to how things are going. I'm ably supported in the corporate space by AGA and by Harry, CFO, and COSEC. So where are we? What is Falcon Lake? So we're located in Northwest Ontario. We're about 3.5 hours from Thunder Bay. Deepwater port, which is accessible 10 months of the year. We're in, as I said, a favourable and well-located, our Tier 1 jurisdiction. We've established all-weather infrastructure to site. We can access site all year round. We have proposed electrification of the area through a renewable power station 10 kilometres from site. And also I'll draw your attention to the red dash line that runs about 10 clicks south of our project. That's the Trans-Canadian National Rail Line. Now that runs to all major Canadian cities and also runs all the way down to Windsor and Detroit, the electric highway. So Windsor and Detroit are basically reinvigorating themselves from the old auto industry days into EV manufacturing hubs. So we believe we have a direct route to market should we be able to prove that this project is viable. I love this slide. This is our slide on a page. Falcon Lake has historical exploration back in the 50s, back in 2014 and in 2016. Likely drilled about 1,400 meters, about 12 holes put in the ground. 3 known lithium occurrences which have been mapped by the Ontario Geological Society, those being the red dots there with notable intersections of 24.4 meters thickness, 1.43% grade from 10 meters, so basically at surface. So tick, tick, tick. That drew me to this project. The Falcon Lake Discovery and East also have notable intersections which we're really excited about, but what gets me even more excited about this project is when we picked it up, we had 2 weeks in October before the snow came down. We got on the ground with 2 guys, and all those white dots were mapped pegmatites that were spodumene bearing. That's only out over 2.5 k's of the prospective corridor. We had to pull up stumps then because the snow came down. We can't do any field work when the snow is down. So we have yet to walk 3 kilometers of that ground or inspect it in any way, shape or form. The snow is melting as we speak, and we're really excited to get people back on the ground to work through that piece of land. I'll also acknowledge our First Nations group, White Sands, AZA and Ireland. We're working very closely with those groups. What you can see here, typical pegmatite outcrops on our property. Spodumene is visible to see. We're lucky to have had people there. We have walk-up drill targets ready to go. So we're fully approved, fully permitted, working through early exploration agreements. Our drill program is planned. You can see the drill holes there. We've awarded our drill contract to Rodron Drilling, and we have a geological partner, Coast Mountain out of Winnipeg, that are ready to assist us in our work. So we anticipate we'll be on the ground in the coming weeks with a drill rig turning. Again, as I said, we have mobilized our gear, everything is ready, so it's an exciting time for us as a business to commence our maiden drill program. Coupled with that maiden drill program, we'll get our summer field work going. We have additional field work planned, additional people to come in. We'll have a 2-pronged approach. We'll be drilling and we'll be carrying out our field works. LiDAR, orthoimagery, magnetic surveys, field prospecting, grab samples, rock chip samples, such that we can define the next step and we can move forward into a secondary drill program. Once we get going, should we prove successful, we don't want to stop. We want to capitalize on the lithium market as it turns and rises, and we want to develop this as quickly as possible. That is our strategy. So why North America? Why do I like North America? It's a micro market in its own sense. In Australia for years we've dug things up, we've put them on a boat and we've sent them to the Asian markets. Canada is different, North America is different. They are keeping it in-house, they are developing their own micro market. Why are we ideally placed? The graph on the right is benchmark. back in 2022, they forecasted 330 kilotons of LCE deficit over the next 10 years. That's the equivalent of nearly 6 or 7 Pilganguras at current production, in addition to what's known currently. Raw material is required in North America. Lithium is required in North America, and that's what we're there to do. We're there to drill, and we're there to find it so that we can have a place in that market. You can see there the OEMs, the battery manufacturers are stacked up the east coast of America. They're crying out for supply, so it's a great position to be in. And looking a bit closer at Canada itself, the political support is overwhelming. We are getting fantastic support from Jonathan Wilkinson. In the top picture, he's the Minister for Natural Resources. Taylor met him recently. We met Greg Rickford, the Minister for Indigenous Affairs and Northern Development at PDAC recently. They've both assigned case officers to our project to assist us in moving this forward as quickly as possible. You look at the recent investment in Canada alone, especially in Ontario. In St. Anthony, Volkswagen announced their first major EV manufacturing hub outside of Europe, and that's in Ontario, where we are based. So we have 2 other complementary projects I'd like to touch on quickly. We have a copper project in Morocco, the Tidili Copper Gold Project. We recently had Dr. Simon Dorling, an experienced geologist out of Perth, who was in Morocco. He carried out some field inspections, some field works, took some rock chip samples, and verification to define the next step of our project there. We're really excited about that. It's highly prospective, and we have a bit of work to do, but we're really hopeful that it's going to be a really, really good asset. And also the zinc-lead germanium project in Bleiberg. It's a historical stronghold, has had mining for many, many years. Perspective for germanium, a key element required in semiconductors and microchips. We all saw through the COVID phases how difficult it was to get a TV post-COVID. That was essentially due to a microchip shortage and a lack of germanium in the industry or in the market. So we're working on that. There's a large quantity of historical documentation to work through, which will define the next steps in our exploration plan. So why would I like you to come and talk to us after this? Why would I like you to consider battery age minerals to be on your watch list or to be on your holding list? We're located in a high growth potential market, lithium. I love lithium. It's what I did, what I've done for the last 6-7 years with Pilbara, and it's what I will hopefully continue to do for the next 6 to 7 years. Hard rock lithium, there is no substitute for it at the moment. There is a lot of narrative, but show it to me, prove it to me that it is replaceable. We have an underexplored asset in Falcon Lake, which has huge potential, and it's drill ready, and we're going to go in, and we're not going to die wondering, we're going to drill it and find out. And we have a defined and targeted plan for 2023. We know what we're doing, the plan is laid out, the people are lined up, we're ready to do it, we're excited about the results. So thank you for your time, thank you for paying attention late into the evening. If you have any questions, please swing by. Come see myself, come see Nigel, ask us some questions, and I hope you have a lovely evening. Thank you very much.